Hi guys, let's have a quick look at good battery maintenance. Fairly straightforward things, but it's one of those regular check things that you should do that quite often get put on the back burner. So let's see what's involved. Now, step one is an essential investment. A multimeter is the first essential item in your kit. It measures current, resistance and voltage. It's really easy to use. Look at the V for volts section. We'll be measuring the 12 volt ranges, so set the dial to the 20 volt section. If you set it any lower than that, it won't read properly on 12 volts. So the voltage you're reading always has to be higher than the voltage you're trying to measure. You can pick one of these up for around £15. I don't know what that is in dollars, probably $30, probably even cheaper. Now, place the probes. Prevent a false reading by making sure the bike hasn't been started recently, ideal for at least 24 hours. That way your battery's been sitting there quite happily for quite a while. Now you can see my battery there on the right, and it's set to the 20 volt reading and the battery's on 13.32 volts. Now that's pretty good. It's just sitting there, so that's a good battery. Now locate the battery in your bike and place the positive probe, that's usually the red one, on the positive terminal, which is usually red or has a plus sign on it. Not the hole where the screwdriver goes. It looks like a plus, but it's not. Look for the red terminal. And the negative probe, which is the black one, goes on the negative or minus terminal. So your terminals could have a positive and a plus and a minus sign on them rather than red and black. Depends on the bikes, but most bikes, red and black. Black's negative, red's positive. A healthy battery should be at least 12.55 volts or more. So that's 12 and a bit volts or more. If it's reading 12 volts, like mine is, you'll see later, it needs a bit of attention. Step 3. Although a multimeter is a handy tool, if a check is all that's required, then a battery tester may be more suitable. Although not as accurate as a multimeter, they're simple to use and as cheap as chips. You'll pick one up for about £5. They display battery condition via LEDs and sometimes include a charging status indicator. Now that one there has a charging status indicator. You can hook it up while the battery's charging on your bike, while your bike's idling or running, and you'll see the appropriate LED light up if all is good. If it's not, it will light up red. Now, obviously that battery's okay because we just measured it. So there's green lights everywhere. The battery's okay and the voltage is 100%. Couldn't be better. Very handy little tool for a quick check. Now the charging status. If your battery voltage is low, do the test again with the engine running to check the charging system is okay. Set the multimeter to 20 volts again or use the battery checker. Place the probes and check the voltage. It should be from 13.3 to just over 14.5. If the reading is less with the engine off, there's probably a charging problem and you may need to have a look at your charging circuit or the rectifier, something like that. I wouldn't suggest you immediately head for the workshop, but if you're at all unsure, get it checked because with winter time coming, it will let you down. Batteries notoriously fail right at the start of winter time, usually when you need them most. Now you can see mine there is reading 14.43. That's a nice voltage. Charging status. Now, a really useful addition to your bike itself is a voltage battery monitor, often in a panel with USB ports and a switch. It can also be mounted alone. Now you can see I've got mine in a panel there and it's got dust off the nearby tree all over it. Very bad. Never mind. I'll get it cleaned. The bike first switched on, showing 12 volts, but that's because I cranked it once. It usually shows 12.3. But it's winter now and it's dropping a bit. It needs a good run. Now there's the engine ticking over and charging. It's showing 14.4. That's pretty good. Now this isn't a 100% accurate check, but it sits on your dash of your motorbike. I've got it mounted there, and it's got an on-off switch. So when you hop on your bike, you just switch it on, check the voltage, and away you go. And if you're riding along and that suddenly starts giving you horrible messages, well, you know there's something wrong. Or not. So, charge the battery. If the battery state is low, you should connect it to a charger. Normally you can leave the battery in the bike, but you must turn off the ignition. You don't want to fry the electricals. Do not use a standard car battery charger. They're not right. If it's an older version lead-acid battery, you should remove it from the bike and loosen the caps to let the generated gas escape. Lead-acid batteries generate hydrogen, and as you know from stories and the Hindenburg disaster, hydrogen is very flammable, and it only takes a little bit of it to blow the insides out of that battery. So be careful with this stuff. Under normal conditions, it's all right. But if your battery's going to be on charge for a little while, and as I said, don't use a standard car battery charger. They're too powerful for little motorbike batteries. Something like the Oxymizer on the right, or a motorbike battery charger. They range in price from a few bucks to more than you can afford. But they're always a good investment. Lead-acid batteries need some extra care, with the topping up of the fluid levels in each cell needed over time. The acid levels go down and the cells should be topped up to the levels indicated on the battery with deionized water. And you can see a minimum and a maximum there, and you can see through that coating in good light. Do not use ordinary water, as this will destroy the battery. You use deionized water. Any good auto store will have it on the shelf. Is it charging? Connect the charger cables to the battery. Red to plus, positive, and black to negative, negative. Check that it's charging correctly. If the battery is deeply discharged, the charger may not even detect it. Remember, it should be from 13.3 to just over 14.5. Now, permanent charger link. During winter periods when your bike's in storage, if you store your bike, or long periods of inactivity, it's a good plan to fit a remote charging lead that allows a battery conditioner charger to be connected 24/7. This prevents steady drain caused by accessories like alarms and GPS trackers and just general leakage. These connectors usually come with good conditioners like the Oxymizer 888 that I showed you before. That's available, I think it's about 28 to £30. There might be sales on, you never know. Know your battery type. Lithium-ion batteries are now almost the standard on newer bikes, and they're lighter and smaller than the old lead-acid seal types and offer better performance. But they're also outrageously expensive at the moment. They do have different charging requirements though, so always check. And the battery type is usually stamped on the side. Now you can see there's the standard wet cell batteries, the lead acid one, top left. It's got all those little caps on it that you've got to take off and check the water levels and things like that. Absorbed glass matte AGM battery. They're a semi-sealed type of thing and a very good battery. Gel cell batteries, they're very good. They can be in any state, upside down, back to front, and they still work. And the lithium-ion batteries, or lithium, depends on which school you went to. There again, you've got the red and the non-red terminal. So, clean and grease the terminals. If you've got the battery cover off and you're checking out these things, clean the terminals while you're there. Apply a thin coating of red grease. Try to avoid ordinary car grease as it can spread over time and eventually leave a filthy coating over everything, and it increases grit retention and you'll end up with the dirtiest looking battery box you've ever seen. A thin coating or smear of Vaseline is okay, and even with red grease, all you need is a thin smear just to keep corrosion away. And if you want to be really picky, you can clean your terminals and buy a special spray-on protector. Very cheap. Amazon is your friend. So, thanks for watching. Please share the video with friends if you like the idea. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.